All right, we're back at it again. Welcome back, guys, to Dom and Gonz Sports Talk. I'm Dom. That's Gonz. Before we get into most of the stuff, I want to apologize for the lack of the episode on Sunday. Things came up, so we have a lot to talk about in a very short amount of time. So we're gonna try to tackle things and peel it back layer by layer here. First off, Gonz, how you doing? I see you decking it out again today on this beautiful Tuesday evening. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're excited to be back. It is officially August the 1st. I am outside. Sorry, I'm going to be swatting these bugs around. We've got a lot of mosquitoes out, but the temperature is beautiful. We are into August, like I said. Training camp has officially started. We are just getting closer and closer to the NFL season. We can't wait. I know you guys are excited. It's been actually, this is now week 2 of training camp because we began last Tuesday. So it's rolling by, Dom. It's just crazy to me.
The summer is just breezing on by. Before we know it, it's gonna be September. Before we tackle all the training camp, because there's a week and a half worth of stuff to talk about the training camp. Before we get into that, we gotta get into some drama first. Running backs. Still catching the disrespect here in the NFL. We see that Jonathan Taylor recently requested a trade from the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, he wants a payday. The Colts aren't trying to give it to him. There are multiple reports saying that he was having back issues. Apparently, he came on Twitter and denied those claims of back issues, saying he never had them. He was threatened to be put on, well, I don't know if they say threatened, but he was going to be put on the PUP list. It's some controversy here for Indianapolis. In my opinion, just pay JT, man. Give him the money. Like, oh my goodness, why are we sitting here even discussing paying this man? Just give him because you don't have a running back. You don't have running backs right now because JT's not signed. Zach Moss got injured and we're hoping for his recovery, by the way. Zach Moss, I know he broke his arm during training camp. We're wishing him a full recovery as he, working through that. He's going to only be gone for a couple of weeks. But still, right now, running backs, the Colts are in a short supply right now. Why not pay this man? What is the controversy here?
I don't know. It's all about the same sort of argument that we were talking about in the last episode. Are these running backs valuable enough to, get lucrative contracts? I don't know what these teams are thinking, but I've also been thinking about another idea. Maybe teams are going the direction for the running back position as plug and play, maybe. Because maybe these teams are starting to feel like that whoever they just put in there at running back could do just as good of a job. Maybe not as dominant as some of these guys, but could just do, a plug and play type of player, do the job that needs to be done, and the offense can keep it going. That I feel like could be a very legit thing for some of these teams, especially teams that are, hovering right above the cap. Lots of ways to save money. I know the Ravens have had to deal with that a lot, and we'll talk about a little bit more of that coming up. But when you have injuries to the running back position, you're forced to just pull these guys off. And, like what the Ravens had to do in 2021 when they lost both of their top guys in the training camp and slash preseason. We had to go out and sign just random people like Latavius Murray and Devontae Freeman, and they got about a week's worth of practice with us before they had to start for week 1.
Gave us a good production, though.
Exactly.
Gave us a good production.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And they were able to get the job done for the most part. Our season sort of derailed when Lamar got hit and knocked out in that Browns game, and other injuries along the way. But bottom line is they kept it going. So I'm wondering if teams are starting to go in that direction as I swat more mosquitoes. I'm going to be doing, like I said, I apologize, guys. I will be swatting mosquitoes out all night long. But, we here at the beach house, I wouldn't want to be any other place right now in the summer streaming Dom and Gonz Sports Talk. So just pardon me if I'm swatting around the camera. Okay. But, yeah, I think that could be a very legitimate concern for some of these teams. So what do you think about that?
I just think that, first of all, right now it's looking like the relationship between ownership and Jonathan Taylor is not looking redeemable.
Dom, I'm sorry to cut you off real quick before you get going. I did want to say, respond. You said that Jonathan Taylor was on the PUP list. For those of you guys that don't know, if an NFL player gets put on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, that means the team does not have to pay them.
Good point.
And that is what's super important about this. You just
Good
wonder
point.
about these back pains that later Jonathan Taylor took to Twitter and said that these were completely false and that these sources were, I don't know where these sources are coming from, pretty much is what he said. Are the Colts using this as a way to stall time and, not pay him? So that's very important to take into consideration. Like, are they really hurt, or is he just going to be put on so the Colts can buy time? Because if that's the case, that is kind of disrespectful, and I don't like how that's going.
Yeah,
but
that ties
you
right
just
into
wonder
that
if
point.
the Colts are starting to abuse a policy like that. Because like I said, any team that puts their players on the PUP list does not have to pay them.
Yeah, and that ties right in. I just don't think this relationship is redeemable. Like the way you have Irsay speaking out of his, I don't know. He released a wild statement a little while ago, regarding, Jonathan Taylor playing. I just don't see how he even really wants to play for them anymore, like considering how things are going. I did see a report earlier today that the Patriots could be somebody to look out for that could acquire him. Now, I mean, obviously the Patriots have missed out on some, they missed out on D-Hop. We don't know what's going on with Zeke, and, Leonard Fournette is still in the air, so we don't really know who else they could acquire. But, I mean, if they get Jonathan Taylor, that he could definitely be a piece that could help them along the way. We will see. But, I mean, I don't know, man. This running back stuff I feel like is getting way too out of hand, and if it doesn't stop soon, there could be some controversy coming into the season. Obviously, these dudes are going to most of these guys are going to still come out here and try to perform to the best of their ability. But deep down, like, it's in the back of their heads, like, this situation is alarming. It is very alarming for current running backs and future running back prospects who want to be in the NFL, because it's like, why, if I'm not going to be paid in my value, why am I playing at this point?
And keep in mind, Jonathan Taylor was 2 years apart from that leading the NFL in rushing back in 2021. Don't forget about that.
Monster season. An absolute monster season. So, I mean, if they're hesitating to pay him, like, the door's wide open for disrespect towards all their running backs, which I think is why they're coming together and doing the things they're doing, meeting and discussing what can be done to help, further the running back market. Because right now it is not plausible to be running back right now. It's sad to say, but we'll see. We'll see how the situation develops, and we'll continue to keep track of it. Hopefully, JT gets the money he deserves. So we'll keep an eye on that going forward. More before we get into training camp, seem to be intensifying, involving defensive end Chase Young. Obviously, Chase is coming off a nasty injury. He didn't really play that much last year, but rumors are intensifying that he could be making his way to the Ravens, according per USA Today. Now, my thoughts on Chase, a young defensive end. I know he's tenacious. He can get out there. Of course, I have injury concerns. I need him to be on the field, to show what he can do. Obviously, this is his time to do that. But I wouldn't mind acquiring him, just depending on what we give up, because the Commanders are under new ownership now, so I don't really know how this guy operates, the new owner of the Commanders. But as far as Chase goes, he's a great young player. I wouldn't mind having him. The pass rush would be absolutely insane if we acquired him. Do I feel like we'll be good without him? Absolutely. I have faith in our young guys, Matabike, Ojabo, Odafe Owe, these guys, Broderick Washington. Like, I have faith in these young guys. So if we don't acquire him, I'm not really upset about it. I mean, it is what it is. But he would be a great piece to have if we give up maybe a third for him. I wouldn't mind giving that up for him. But I mean, what's your take? Because I'm obviously good either way.
Yeah, it's fine. And I just don't want to overpay. And
exactly,
for them to even consider bringing him in, he needs to be back to fully healthy, in my opinion. Back to the rookie season form of Chase Young from 2020. That was very good. That was a very good version of Chase Young. He was crazy. He got a lot of sacks. He got a touchdown off of a fumble. Very dynamic player. But the way the Ravens stand right now, and we're going to cover this more in a little bit when we break down the training camp, our edge rushers are looking pretty good right now.
They are. That's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
the pads came out on Monday, and they still were looking great. The defensive line dominated. More on that in a little bit. But I don't know. Chase Young is fine, but you just don't – I don't think you need to overpay for him.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that we do have scheduled joint practices with the Commanders coming up.
We do.
I believe it's August 18th. I think it's the Monday. Or no, sorry, it's the Monday after. It's the Monday after the Week 1 preseason game after the Eagles, which is on Saturday, August the 12th. We'll break that down for you as well. They'll be getting a lot of looks at Chase Young during that time. So if he's, back to normal, the Ravens personnel and coaching staff will be able to see that. So you just wonder if that might have any impact on it as well. But honestly, I don't think they need to go out of their way for this guy. First of all, he's got to be back to normal, no setbacks or limitations, and then not overpaying. Because I think we have good young guys on the defensive line. Tyus Bowser, obviously, David Ojabo, Odafe Owe, all developing. So I don't think they need to go out of their way.
Yeah,
personally.
I agree.
Mhm.
Like, we missed out on the Daniil Hunter sweepstakes. I mean, he signed his 1-year deal with the Vikings to return. I believe it's a $20 million deal, including incentives. So, I mean, I feel as though with pass rush, we got what we have.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that
I think
either.
the coaching staff is feeling I'm feeling confident in our pass rush. Reports are coming out that, things look great for them out of training camp. So, I mean, I say we roll with what we have. And then, if anything needs to be changed, we can change it before the deadline for this year. But I think it's fine. So, again, another developing story. We'll keep track of that as training camp continues. Now we can get to the brunt of it. Training camps, not just for the Ravens, but around the NFL. We are seeing the injury bug hitting at a very quick rate already. We've seen Burrow go down. We've seen Ramsey go down. I'm getting scared, man. I'm getting a little scared because the injury bug is zizzing around.
Well, we lost Geno Stone yesterday also.
We
Nice
lost
rotational
Geno.
guy. Tweaked his ankle about 30 minutes before practice ended and did not practice for the rest of that practice or today. So you hope he's okay as well. But, yeah, that Burrow injury is very significant because there's no timetable on his return, and the Ravens have a huge monster matchup at Cincinnati in Week 2. So you just wonder if Burrow's going to be back for that in time and how much of a difference that would make playing Joe Burrow versus whoever their backup is. I'm not even sure.
That's the crazy thing, too.
I hope Burrow's okay, though. You hate to see that kind of stuff happen.
Yes.
And Burrow has just been decimated by injuries when it comes to training camp. Like last year, he had, I think he had appendicitis or something and ended up missing almost all of training camp. And then, obviously, the year before, he was rehabbing. So, yeah, this guy still finds ways to get all the way deep in the playoffs every single year, even though he doesn't have hardly any summer workouts. So hats off to him for just being dominant. But here he is once again with another setback. We'll see how he does. And is he going to be ready by Week 1? Time will tell.
Yeah, because he's not practicing right now. Like you said, he's out with a calf strain. So who knows if he'll be really in form by the time the week comes around. Looking at their roster right now, before they make roster cuts, they have Jake Browning, Trevor Siemian, and Reed Sinnett as their backup QBs. So I don't know Burrow's timetable to return, but, I mean, again, you never really want to see someone go down with an injury, so we're hoping for his recovery. Also, Dolphins' newly acquired star DB, Jalen Ramsey, goes down with an injury. He's not expected to return until December, which is very detrimental to the Dolphins squad because he was going to be a key piece next to Xavier Howard for that secondary, and now they won't see him until December. I feel as though this is a big blow to the Dolphins because he was first of all, they got him for close to nothing. That trade is so wild to me to this day that they were to get him for that. But at this point now, you look at the Dolphins. I mean, obviously they haven't had any other significant injuries, but to replace him, they got Eli Apple. Now, we all know Apple. He's everyone's seen the burnt toast memes. Everyone has them. They're out there. They're in the public. Obviously, from his Super Bowl performance against the Rams. But I mean, this really hurts the Dolphins because their defense. I feel like their defense last year was decent, but I mean, it could get stops, but it needed something to help them get over the hump, and I felt like Jalen was that. And with him not being there for that first half of the season, it's gonna hit, and they might feel that effect coming into the season because again, passing attacks in the AFC East have only been getting better, and that's not bearing well for them right now coming into this. So again, hoping for Jalen's recovery as well.
Yeah, this is huge. This is supposed to be their guy in the secondary. They were missing that one guy last year on defense, and here they got him. And how he can't even be set on the football field. Excuse me, until December. Can't step. The word I was looking for. He can't step foot on the football field until September or December. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. And that's terrible because there's only a quarter of the season left by that point.
Yeah.
We are winding down, getting ready for playoff mode. By the time he comes back, so we will probably already know where the Dolphins stand by the time Ramsey steps foot on the field for them on their defense. So that's huge. That's huge,
yeah.
huge.
And then the
huge.
funny thing is, he comes back. Like I feel like he's probably going to be back right before they play us because we play them December 31st. So
well, we also play them at our home this time in the cold. I think we got them this year. But that's another topic. But yeah, you just hate to see these injuries, and I'm hoping the Ravens have done a decent job so far. Knock on wood.
Yes.
Knock on some wood of staying pretty healthy right now. Let's keep that going. I don't care.
Yes.
We don't need to play any preseason games. We don't need to. Let this be a time for the depth players to shine and lock in their roster moves. I don't want to see any Lamar. We don't need to see any Gus Edwards, no OBJ. I think they'll all be set to keep doing what they've been doing in practice, and we're going to get to this in a minute. They've all had their moments in practice, which is great. I don't think there's any reason to take any unnecessary risks in the preseason. It's only 3 games. Just keep them practicing hard against each other and get ready for that Texans game on September the 10th.
Absolutely. Let's get ready for week 1. And before week 1, we were going to go over training camp now. We've been hearing a lot of good, man. Not too much bad. We've been hearing a lot of good. Obviously, we're not going to hear too much bad because, they don't want to say anything. But as far as this, we've been hearing a lot of good coming out of training camp this year. Full attendance for the most part, except for the guys on the PUP list. I believe Ricard, Dobbins, I think Bowser might still be out.
Bowser's still out, yep, and so is Bateman.
So, yeah, and Bateman's still out. He hasn't practiced yet since returning, so hoping to see those guys soon. But so far, so good. We've had full attendance. No significant injuries just yet.
Knock on some wood right now, yep.
Yeah, no significant injuries just yet. I mean, so far it's looking good. From my take, man, the Lamar to OBJ connection is looking very crisp so far. So far this year, it's looking very crisp. He's even beaten Marlowe on a lot of passes. I know Marlowe's beating himself up for a lot of the stuff he's given up so far. I think it's also that the one pass, Marlowe actually had him covered, but OBJ recovered and still caught it off the pass tip, which is insane to me. So
hold on, I'm going to go on mute for a second. There's lots of sirens. Keep going down.
But yeah, so a lot of good things coming out of that. So OBJ is looking good. A lot of good things coming from Zay. He missed a couple of days due to illness, but he returned. He's been looking really crisp. I hear reports to saying his route running is just A1. He's twitchy, speedy. He's beating everyone on one-on-ones. He was 3 for 3, I believe, today on one-on-ones, just going absolutely bonkers. Nelson Aguilar. And let me be the first to admit, I was definitely questionable when we signed Nelson Aguilar. I was like, really? Nelson Aguilar? But after hearing him today, after the presser, I'm feeling I'm warming up to him. I'm really warming up to the player that he is, the veteran that he is. Like, he seems like he has a lot of positive energy. I love the fact that he said Baltimore feels like home. The fact that, he feels like as soon as he sat down and talked, he was like, this just felt right to me. So he has a lot of positive attitudes coming to the season. He really feels like this receiving core is the real truth, and I love that attitude coming out of him because we need that coming into the season. So I love that from him. He had a great catch over Brandon Stevens, just mossing the hell out of him in the back of the end zone. So that's great to see. So hopefully he continues that. I would love to see that from him this season, please. Defensively, let's just talk
Yeah,
about defense.
offense. Before you go on to defense, the offense is looking pretty good.
Yes.
Everyone is getting involved from what I see. And most importantly, the tempo looks very quick, and that is what we've been missing for years. I'm tired of getting to the line and they're snapping it with a second left, or when it just hits zero, and risk getting to delay a game. Just nothing more frustrating than that. I want to get quick to the line, get the defense off guard, hit them for a chunk play or two, go no huddle, tire them out. That's what we want to see. We want to see urgency, even when we're winning. Obviously there'll be a time and place to chew the clock, but for the most part, you want to keep the pedal to the metal and keep the offense humming until you get a sizable lead before you start chewing clock. Because there's just way too many times where they would have a 3-point lead and then they just not get aggressive at all and just try to play not to lose instead of play to win.
Scared.
And we've talked about this plenty of times before, but it's just nice and refreshing to see that Todd Monken's offense looks up-tempo. And, Lamar seems to be in control, hitting many different weapons over the past few days. I think each day the top play on offense has featured a different player. One of them, one day OBJ, one day Aguilar, one day Zay Flowers. That was the special one today. He hit him in the back of the end zone on 7-on-7 drills. That we'd love to see that. Mark Andrews, too, getting involved, of course. And don't forget about Isaiah Likely, had the catch of the day sometime last week, I believe, on a nice little tip pass to himself. So just everyone's getting involved. Everyone's getting involved, and I'd love to see that on offense. Now, you mentioned people on the PUP list. The one person I am worried about is Bateman. Bateman is still not here, and Lamar is kind of taken off without him. I mean, everyone's getting involved. All these guys are getting these valuable reps with him, and Bateman's just not there. I mean, how serious is this injury? They said he was ready to go by training camp, and here we are a week in, and he's still not ready. So I've said this earlier on Dom and God Sports Talks a couple weeks ago in multiple episodes that Bateman is running out of time. And I could definitely see the Ravens trading him eventually if this doesn't improve, because he's just not on the field. And I know it sucks for him because he never dealt with these injuries, but now he comes to Baltimore and he's just been hurt like 70% of the time, and he's not had that chance to show what he can be for a full 17 games. And I just feel bad for him. But at the end of the day, we can't wait for it either, all these wideouts are getting really good reps and making plays and being on the top training camp play of the day for these on the Ravens website, and it's just Bateman's just not there, not at all. And the other guys are just going to use those reps to their advantage. People like Nelson Aguilar, for example. I mean, he's looking really good. And you just wonder if Bateman does not hurry up and get back in it before the regular season starts, he might find himself buried in the depth chart. Because all the rest of the guys are fresh off training camp practices, workouts with Lamar, and getting that chemistry down. And Bateman's here playing catch up, and you just don't want to see that. This is a first-round pick. He needs to be out there. I know Lamar Jackson's talked about him recently, saying that's still my guy. That's my wide receiver one, and that's great. But we're not seeing it because he's not playing. So we need to see more out of Bateman, and he needs to hurry this list. This Lisfranc surgery must have been really bad because it's now, what is it, August 1st.
Yeah.
And he got hurt back on the Bills game in September. So it's been almost a year. I mean, this is starting to get crazy. And for his sake, he needs to hurry and get back on the field ASAP because the rest of the offense is not waiting around. They are getting it going. Which
they're not
good for them, but for him,
but not good for Bateman.
You got to wonder if he's probably feeling a little bit anxious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you disagree with anything you're saying. I think Bateman should get back on the field as soon as possible. I mean, like you said before, going back to one of your points, he never experienced these injuries before coming to Baltimore. And I feel like I can kind of blame some of that on coaching back in those times before we had the switch up. So it's just unfortunate that he was plagued with that when he first got here. And I'm mad that we didn't, get quick with this sooner. And it's unfortunate because I feel like he's a really great receiver, and given the opportunity, he can ball out whenever given. But I'm hoping that we can see him soon because I feel like him and OBJ together with Zay will be dynamic with, Aguilar sliding in whenever. I feel like that's a good core to have. It just sucks because he had moments last year that we really like. He was like, I forgot what team who we were playing at the time, where he was like his top speed. He had hit a top speed for like close to, I don't know if he scored on that play, but
Miami Dolphins, I think.
Thank you. Yes. When he just showed flashes of being great. Like, we just need more of that from him, but we have to see him on the field. You're absolutely right. And he's been plagued with this since he got here. And it's not really, it's more detrimental to his cause than positive for his cause because we can't see him. We don't know what he's capable of. And unfortunately, I hope we don't trade him before we can see, but
I don't think they will trade him anytime soon. I was just saying that he will fall on the depth chart because these other guys are starting to get hot. And yes, that's exciting to see. But for him, it's not. It's not good.
It's not. Yeah, and you were saying, I can see what you're saying about him potentially being traded at some point if we don't see him soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's to be ruled out. But as far as him right now, I hope we get to see what he's capable of with this new coordinator, to scheme up for him. So I'm hoping we get to see him soon because, like you said, he could fall very low on the depth chart because there are some receivers out here still fighting for a spot. So,
I know Zay Flowers will pounce on that job immediately, and he'll get the because just the way he is. He's probably the most confident wide receiver I've ever seen in Baltimore as a rookie. I just, if you see him talk, I was watching an interview he had on the Lounge podcast on the Ravens website. He just sounds like he's ready. Like he's that guy. And I mean, yes, of course sometimes that could be a curse for some of these guys. You could get a little bit too hard-headed, but listen, I think if you're a wide receiver and you think you're going to be the best, I don't mind. I can't question that. You got to feel like you're the best. If you come into that mentality that you can do whatever you need to do and get it done, however you're going to get it done, I think that's the mentality to have. Yep. And I really think that, he can do this. I think he can. The more I watch him, the more I like him because, as you all know, I was skeptical on him being drafted in the first round. But each time I'm watching him, he's impressing me more and more. He's got the speed. He's looking good catching the ball too. So let's keep that up. But yeah, he will pounce on that opportunity. If Bateman's not ready week one, Zay Flowers will be ready to be that number one or number two, depending on how it shakes out between him and OBJ. He will pounce on that opportunity.
Absolutely.
He will.
Absolutely.
And he won't look back
either.
He's not going to wait.
There's no reason to look back. There's no reason to look back. I mean, the time moves without us. Like, time will move. So, Bate, please come back. We would love you. We love to have you. Come back on the field, man. Whenever you're feeling 100%. Don't rush it.
Yeah, don't rush
it.
But he needs to be on here for at least a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3, before the training camp ends, before we get into regular season mode. Because before we know it, snap of a finger, close your eyes, open them up, we'll be back at September the 3rd, a week away from
September's here.
Kickoff Sunday. So, you got time, but you don't got time, if you know what I mean, because it will go by in a heartbeat. Yes. So I'm hoping whatever he's dealing with, he can get on the field ASAP because he needs the reps. He needs the reps.
Yeah. Speaking of reps, one thing I liked about practice too, offensively, I saw a lot of good red zone offense. We struggled with the red zone last year. We could not score to save our heinies, but I saw a lot of red zone offense being done. It's good to see that, we're trying to adjust. I feel, and this is just my humble opinion, this year, 2 red zone targets to keep your eye on this year. Of course, you have Andrews. Obviously, if you don't target Andrews in the red zone, you're insane. And OBJ had some really clutch catches in the red zone, scoring some touchdowns, like I said, over Marlowe. So I feel like those are two big red zone targets for Lamar this year.
Yeah, he's
So
had a
keep an
lot
eye
of
on
success
that.
in practice. I agree. Like
Yeah.
OBJ has scored a lot of TDs in the red zone. Another person to maybe add to that, I don't know. I've seen Nelson Aguilar get some touchdowns as well.
He
Some
has.
contested
Nelson's been
catches. I
looking
mean,
good.
it's nice to see all these guys scoring touchdowns. And I know it's just practice or whatever, but it's nice to see us spreading the ball around and, scoring on these red zone opportunities. But sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I agree. Red zone offense is something we both know we struggled with last year. So I'm hoping that we can see improvements this year, being able to score in the red zone and not doing stupid plays like a quarterback sneaking the 2-yard line. But again, I'm not going to bring up the PTSD. So that was great to see off that. Let's see what else. Like you said, a lot of touchdowns being scored all around. So it's multidimensional. Justice Hill being utilized out of the pass game more. So I love to see that too. Saw Gus out there. Gus, the rotational pieces, I think we saw Melvin Gordon, Gus, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell. Those guys are looking good. Melvin Gordon, speaking of him, definitely surprised to see. If you guys don't know, according to our Instagram page, we were live from the practice. Melvin Gordon was excited to see. I'm intrigued to see what he can do for us coming into this year. We all know he has a bad karma with fumbling. So I'm hoping that we are working with him to keep his hands on the ball, please, at all times.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what he can do for us this year. He's a great vet. We got a lot of young guys in the running back room, so it's going to be great to see him spread that knowledge to the young guys. But offensively, I'm feeling really good so far. I know it's just training camp. We'll see what happens preseason. We'll see. But as far as this right now, offensively, I'm feeling good. Like, I feel like things are clicking really well. Obviously, there's a long way to go, but I think from where we are right now, it's looking good. It's looking really good.
Yes. I would say so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to move to defense real quick?
Yeah. So we can go on to defense now, because the defense is, like we said today, practice pads came on today for practice. According to reports, defensive line dominated with pads on today. So that's great to see. Broderick and, Matabike, Odafe. Speaking of Odafe, we're hearing reports. He's really getting good. Like, he's really improving very well.
I got to see it to believe it. I got to see it to believe it.
I know. What I was just about to say, what did we say before? Who has to have a big year this year to really show us something? Odafe. And I'm hearing now that, he's getting better with his signature moves. He's moving well. He's getting in the backfield. I saw during the practice camp, I think he got back there with Ojabo. So I'm feeling optimistic that he will do really well this year. Ojabo doing really well. I've seen him get in the backfield a couple of times, so I can't wait to see him get unleashed.
Ojabo looks great.
I'm excited. Ojabo looks really good. But yeah, man, I have my high hopes for Owe this year. I have a lot of faith in him this year with the coaching adjustments. I think he's going to be really, really good. I think we're going to see his sack numbers increase, hopefully. I'm excited for him. I'm really hoping to see the best out of him, because we haven't seen it, especially last year. He was quiet last year. So I'm hoping to see him grow and to see his potential really hit this year, because we need him. We're going to need him this year.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. Him and Ojabo getting back to form. I saw they might be switching into sort of a power type of rusher. I can't forget. I forget who that was. It was either Ojabo or Owe. They were discussing how they could potentially switch some of their skill set pass rush moves into more powerful rushers, into speed. That's fine with me. Do what you got to do. I like the adjustments. That's making me very excited. Yes, the pads came on. O-line struggled today. Hopefully that was just a blip, and just the Ravens defense is that good, I'm hoping. But I really am excited about this defensive line, judging from practice. But again, I got to see it to believe it. And I think we'll get a taste of that in the preseason. But I think it's really going to matter about these first couple weeks of the regular season. Have they turned the corner? So moving on to the secondary, the cornerbacks have been making some plays too. I've been hearing really good things about second-year corner Armour Davis, right? This
Yeah,
is
I'm hearing
only
a
his
lot of good
second
things
year.
from him.
And they're hearing a lot of nice things about him. That's very good.
That's great to hear.
Because that was another guy we talked about a lot, that he needs a big year this year. Or not even a year, a big summer, because his roster spot is not guaranteed, but it's looking pretty good for him right now. He needs to keep it up.
I think he's claiming it right now.
So we'll see. Again, preseason will be a lot big for him. People like him and Pepe Williams, shout out to him. He was able to come get taken off the pup list. Sorry. So that's really good for him, because we talked about how valuable his reps need to be as he comes out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So who else do we got? Caillou Blue Kelly had a couple plays. He had an interception today, I believe, on a one-on-one drill. So that's good. Like, these cornerbacks are starting to get
corners are fighting
a little bit.
The corners are fighting.
I heard the Rock Ya-Sin is still adjusting a little bit because he's more of a zone. How you doing, Lou? Commanders, yeah,
Commanders.
We're about
yeah.
When you go back and rewatch this, we talk about Chase Young. We'll bring him on potentially, but we'll see. Yeah, I know you're excited about the Commanders with them being sold and everything, but unfortunately, you'll still be last place. Anyway, oh yeah, I hope Max heard that too, because Max is definitely big Commanders fan. But yeah, anyway, Rock Ya-Sin's adjustment to the Ravens' multiple defensive scheme, where we play both man and zone. If you guys don't know, he's been more of a zone corner, so he's getting used to a little bit of that press man, and he's done a pretty good job. Because like a lot of these guys are making acrobatic catches on him, like I believe Nelson Aguilar, some of these other guys, just Mosses and stuff. That's good. I mean, make the receiver earn it. Don't give him wide open plays. You know what I mean?
Don't let him make them earn it, please.
Right.
You're giving up enough wide opens last year.
Yeah. And, this is exciting. And another guy who's been standing out is Marcus Williams, our free agent pickup from last year, really starting to become a vocal guy. He's starting to settle in with the Ravens teammates and, starting to rise as that vocal leader in the secondary, which is exactly what we need, because we got a lot of younger guys back there at safety. Yeah. Kyle Hamilton, only second-year player. Geno Stone, relatively young too. Hope prayers out to him. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah. We need him back too.
He's only going to
really good.
I'm hearing he's only going to be out for a week. So I think it's only a week for him, and he should be back.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So it's really nice to see that we could have another vocal leader on this defense alongside Roquan Smith. So just skill positions everywhere. And, of course, Marlowe's making it tough on these wideouts in camp too. So we'll see. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
one thing on offense that we did forget to touch, offensive line, the left guard positioning, the majority of the reps have gone to the huge guy from Hawaii, our 6th-round pick. I'm just going to call him Sala. I don't know how to say his full name.
We'll just call him Sala.
I'm going to call him Sala. Big guy, getting the majority of the reps over Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland may be on his way out, just a heads up, because he has not gotten too many chances. I mean, Salah's been rocking it with those firsts. I mean, yeah, he's had some ups and downs. Everybody had sort of a tough day on the offensive line today, like you said, but that's saying something. Yeah. That is saying something. When your 6th-round pick is taking the majority of those reps, it says something about you and your coach trusting you. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it because
if he's young and he wants to, make a name for himself, get out there and guard some of these tough defensive. Hey man, go at it. I love to see the rookie stepping up and taking over. Like we put our faith in you for a reason. If you're exceeding expectations, we'll take it any day of the week. For me,
yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm happy for him. If he wins the job. Now I hear reports that it's not guaranteed that he's going to win the job because we still.
By no means,
of course. But but hearing the reports from him so far, it sounded like he's doing really, really well so far, running these first team reps. Getting this experience. So if he wins the job, power to you, man. Step in, step up.
And
we need people to step.
Preseason will be really big for him too. This is going to be
absolutely. I agree, absolutely. So if he wants to step in, step up, and take that spot, hey man, we need all the protection we can get. We got Myles Garrett in our division, so we got T.J. Watt in our division. Cameron Hayward, like these guys are no joke.
Mm-hmm.
So do whatever you need to do to earn that spot because we need all the help we can get. This is going to be a tough season.
Yeah, it's really coming along. I'm very excited. Not many injuries, but there is one guy that we didn't talk about on the PUP list, and that is our RB1, Mr. J.K. Dobbins. Still hurt, still not playing, and this has become a mess. Dom?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the situation. There are reports saying that he's holding out. There's reports saying that I don't know what to make of JK right now. I don't know exactly. Obviously, nobody knows but him. But as far as the situation, I don't. If he is holding out, because again, it's not guaranteed that he is. If he is holding out, I just don't think this is the right way to go about it. Like I don't know in his circumstances the best to hold out. Like if anything, right now, if you're in the final year of your contract, this is the year to show the team, hey man, listen, I'm still that dude. I've never stopped being that dude, and I'm gonna show you that I'm still that dude. Like right now, he's not on the field, and we need him. We're gonna need him out there on the field. Like he's a dynamic back, and now obviously if it is a holdout, I'm not gonna be mad at a man for wanting to get his money. If you do the job, you're supposed to get paid. That's how it goes. I mean, JK has always been that workhorse back. Obviously, injuries have derailed him, but he's been a workhorse. He ran like crazy on one freaking leg last year, so I know what he's capable of. But it's just the fact that there's a durability issue, and I think that it needs to be called into question because we have to know if you're going to be able to be out there for a full season. Everyone gets banged up, but guys are still out there for 17 games. It's possible. Like, I mean, we have to be able to see him out there. And if we don't see him out there, how are you going to prove that you're worth that money? Like, what are you doing to prove that? So I'm all for you getting paid, but I mean, as much as we love you, ownership is saying, listen, man, and I'm only speaking hypothetically here, but ownership is probably saying, like, listen, we have to see you out there for a full season, no injuries, go out there and rush your butt off, and then, we'll talk. I feel like that's probably the way they're going about it right now. It's crazy to think that way, and obviously we covered the running back disrespect throughout these past couple of weeks, with Saquon, Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, Josh Jacobs has yet to get a deal done. So has Eckler. But, I just want to go into the season with no drama, and I want JK not to have to worry about this. I want him to come in here and just focus on being him this season. And I feel like this is going to be a hindrance to him more than, helping him. I just don't see that being the right way if he's holding out. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I 100% agree with all that. Now, there are a few updates to this. Melvin Gordon went on an interview, I believe, with his name was Kyle Goon, Goon. What a last name. You may correct me if I'm wrong, but went on there and confirmed that JK was indeed holding out. And JK, shortly after, went on and liked the post on Twitter. So you just wonder what's going on here. Is he hurt or is he holding out? It's looking like he's holding out, unfortunately. And yes, like you said, he's got to prove himself to be a durable running back, just like he was his rookie season. Now, there is a rebuttal to that argument as well. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Dom. I wasn't aware of this until recently either. Shout out to Engraved Vids on YouTube with this helpful information. J.K. Dobbins was, in a way, he liked a post that was sort of talking about the Ravens' way of conditioning, because J.K. Dobbins had not dealt with injury for a super long time, been very healthy during college for the most part. I think he had one injury early college. I may be wrong. That may be someone else. But generally, he has not had any injuries. But then when he comes to Baltimore, all of a sudden, he gets just the terrible injury in the preseason. And JK opened up a little bit about that too, saying it was more than just a torn ACL. It had a meniscus tear and an LCL in there as well. So there were at least three different ligament tears in here. And all this talk about JK not being a durable back, well, I mean, is it really my fault is what he's saying? Because this Ravens conditioning staff could have steered us in the wrong direction. So,
yeah.
Is
I bring
really,
that up all the time.
So, for those of us saying, prove it, like, we're not paying you till you prove it, those people with that argument, what if he's already shown that, but the Ravens are the one preventing him from being as healthy as he could be? That's a very, very deep thing, because I was all over – when I was talking to Dom this morning about this, I was all over JK saying, oh, he needs to prove himself. He shouldn't get paid at all until he stops holding out and, gives us a full healthy season and dominates, like I know he will, like the dominant running back he is. But when I read that, like, it just made me kind of not fully reconsider, but definitely think about some of this a little bit, because if the Ravens conditioning staff is responsible for some of these injuries due to whatever programs or routines they have, you just wonder if that can have an impact on his health as well. And yeah, so all those people saying that he's not a durable, he can't play, he gets injured too much, is it all his fault? So maybe with that in mind, that's why maybe he should be holding out and ask for the bread, because that would not be completely on him. And if that was 100% true, I would not blame him at all. Now, this is a big if, but that is a very valid consideration, because he's not dealt with injuries that much in his career, and all of a sudden, bam, sort of like Bateman, just comes to Ravens and it gets decimated by injuries.
And you see what I'm saying? Like,
just have to wonder if they're onto something here. So it became a just even murkier mess today when I read about that, because
we've tore the strength and conditioning coach, our previous one, a new one, like, for our terrible injury history. Mm-hmm. And this is what I've been saying before. Every time I mention, my optimism towards the Ravens, it's because of the new coaching situation. Like, I think with the culture switch, things can change for the better. But I agree. Like, the strength, like the conditioning, like stuff we've done has been very detrimental towards us as far as like player health, and it hasn't been good. We've lost half the roster before the regular season even started. Like that's just saying a lot in general. So yeah. I can't fault. Like, that's a really great point to bring up, because we've been on record before saying, our strength and conditioning coach sucked. And like, I don't know what we were doing during practice or things of that nature, but it really makes you look at the Ravens with a different light and saying, is it really these players or is it us? Could it be a combination of both? I don't know. But as far as this is concerned, it was very alarming. It's a very alarming point to bring up, but it has to be brought up, because these players are sitting here like knowing what they can do, but they can't do it because they're not on the field to do it, and it's not always their fault. So,
and you just wonder if that's why he wants the money, because in case that whatever the Ravens are doing, something might happen to him again. He wants to be secured financially, and I don't blame him for that. I really don't.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So, you got to get paid.
So that really took me back a second when I read that, because it's like, am I really that non-durable guy that you guys are looking at me as, or is it not my fault?
It's not my fault.
We'll see what happens. I just really hope it gets straightened out. I hope that it's nobody's fault and it was just a fluke injury, and we could just get him signed eventually, and he can practice and get those reps in, because he's really good. I really enjoy watching him run and catch. He's got that sneaky strength. Even though he's a short type of guy, he's got power when he runs the ball. He's got the elusiveness as well. We already know. We don't even need to talk about it. We already are aware of what JK brings to the table. And he's a fun guy, too. He really is a fun guy. And it just
fun guy, man.
Hate to see somebody like that get into like
on the shelf. And then,
And I just I'm hoping we can figure that out because we got Gus back and he's been running with the ones and we love that. So we do have one of our top guys back, but we would definitely like to have our other guy back as well.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, and
the 1-2 punch
that would just be awesome, and I'm hoping we can get that straightened out. I really am. Because
JK, man, I don't know if JK's ever gonna watch this or if he ever gonna see this, but listen, just know we want you on the field. We want you in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. We know what you can do. Hopefully, we can see you in a Ravens uniform until you retire. We would love that.
Yeah,
but
he is.
We know you got to get paid. Trust me, we're with you. We know you got to get paid. That's just the fruit of the tree.
The last thing I want to say about this, though, if he in fact is, holding out unfairly, if we're going the other direction with it, like the previous argument we were talking about at the beginning, where you already know where he drawing a blank is unfairly holding out, needs to be practicing. Let's just say this: the Ravens could be taking the direction that I talked about earlier in the show about the running back by committee, pulling people off the street, plug and play, because they showed they could do it before. Because some people are comparing this to the Lamar situation, and it is not the same thing, in my opinion, at all, just because of the dynamic of the player. Because when JK was out and Lamar was in, we started off really well, and we went 8-3 with no dominance.
Yeah, we were still hot.
Back was Latavius Murray and Devontae Freeman, right? So the Ravens have showed that they don't absolutely have to have him on the field to win games. Right? Lamar Jackson, once he got hurt, we missed the playoffs. Last year, Lamar Jackson got hurt. We scrapped in the playoffs and lost the first round. Having Lamar on the field is the make or break for the Ravens offense. It is. And it's it showed us the past 2 years why. The unfortunate reality is the Ravens don't have to have the running backs on the field. This is my opinion. But I think they still have won games and shown that they could do enough to get the job done without the running backs.
Yeah.
The records show. The X factor is our quarterback. That's what history has shown. So that's why it's different. That's why this JK situation is different from Lamar, because technically the Ravens don't absolutely need him to be successful. And that's a bold proclamation. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we keep him. But
we'll see, man.
History shows what happened. It's possible to win without them. And last year, who was it? Last year, Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, who gave us some quality minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gave us some quality minutes.
Justice Hill did his thing, and then Gus came back late, and then obviously JK did too.
JK came back
but
late,
they started out good without him. And, they had a hobble JK for a few games before he got taken out to go get that cleanup knee procedure. But it's there. And you just can't help but wonder if the Ravens are thinking that by not bringing him back. Or, jumping on the chance to sign him immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a touchy situation.
It's very tough.
That we can sign
very
him.
tough.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if he's holding out willingly. You just don't know everything about it. Because it may look like he's being a nuisance and, I need my money now. I ain't going to step on the field. But there could be a method behind that, like we talked about. It just gets murkier and murkier the more you think about it.
We don't know anything until
I definitely feel different about it now than I did earlier this morning when we were talking.
Oh, so you had a revelation.
Well, yeah, because I found out all that information about maybe it being behind the scenes stuff with the Ravens conditioning staff, all that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping it can get straightened out and he can return to the field because we would love to have him. He just makes the team so much better.
He makes the team just that much great.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like I said, the AFC is just getting better. So
I'd rather not use Melvin Gordon. I mean, I guess we could if we had to, but I'd rather not. I'd rather have JK. No offense to you,
well,
Melvin Gordon.
If it's a proven Melvin Gordon, I'll take him.
I mean, no offense. I didn't mean to sound disrespectful. No offense to Melvin Gordon. He's probably given his all here at training camp, like you said.
Yeah.
But we just want our guys. It's been so long since we've had fully healthy Gus Edwards, fully healthy JK on the field together. Yeah. I'd just like to see that again.
So we need to see them back. So hoping for them to be back on the field for week 1. We would love to see it. Obviously, all Ravens fans would love to see it. Hoping to get more reports out of training camp. Hall of Fame game coming up on Thursday. Browns versus Jets. It's going to be a good one, so we're looking forward to that. We are losing time here, so we're going to wrap it up here. Gonz, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, we'll keep you posted. First Ravens preseason game is on Saturday, August the 12th. We will cover that. On Sunday, we'll do a post-game wrap up, see who does well, which area struggled, which area did excelled. We can't wait. Football's starting.
Football's upon us. It's time. We're ready. I'm ready. I can't wait for week 1. I'm just excited for week 1. Okay, so we're gonna get out of here, guys. We are gonna be live on Sunday. This was just a makeup episode from last Sunday, so we'll be back on Sunday. Thank you again for joining us for Dom and Gonz Sports Talk. I'm Dom. That's Gonz. We'll see you again Sunday night. Hall of Fame game wrap up.